Stuart?
Yes.
It's a bit difficult to see your eyes because of the reflection of the windows.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to fix that. Any suggestions?
Well, yeah, I take off your glasses. I wouldn't ask you to do that, but maybe if you have some, would you have curtains or blinders for your windows so they won't be that light, or?
Well,
That makes it even worse.
yeah.
When computer screen
It's still a little bit dark over here outside. It hasn't really, you know, it will brighten up, and then I think possibly it'll.
Yeah, just look down like that.
You tilt your head, yes.
Yeah. Oh, how's that? Yeah.
Okay, let's all do it.
I need more light behind me, I think, but yeah, I'll be conscious of it, and I'll see if I can just keep my head down slightly. I'll be like hunchback. I've struggled with that one for a while because I'm aware of the glare on the glass, and I've tried this and that, and I haven't been successful at getting rid of it. Now, when it's bright outside, if I open that curtain behind me, then it creates a glare on the screen. So there's a window in front of me as well, but the glare is coming, I think, as light from the screen of the computer.
Yes.
Maybe we turn that down. I'll leave my light turned down on the computer. Maybe that'll help. Okay, guys, we're going to start. So how are you doing?
Better than yesterday.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Who's the speaker?
I'm the speaker.
Oh, yeah. But who is the speaker in you? I'm doing better than yesterday. You know, who has permission to approach the voice inside of you? Is that the part you trust? You see, if you see yourself as a community of different parts,
yeah,
and I say to you, well, how are you doing, guys? And there's a part that immediately steps forward and says, well, I'm doing grand, you know, here I am. Does that part speak for all of you, or is it just itself? Have you checked in with yourself?
This was a reflection because yesterday morning I felt quite sad. I'm really tired with a headache, and it's completely different today.
Yeah. So this I'm sorry for jumping on you, as it were, but it's just an example. I mean, it could be anybody. The how we defend our position. We're constantly leaving what's outside, and we take in only what we choose. Now, in terms of education, adult education, because we're all adults, the difference between adult education and, say, teaching children is that adults need to participate, whereas children can just absorb. You know, children will take in whatever is put around them to a fair extent, Whereas with an adult, we're much more, I know what I believe. Our defensive structures, and I think it's an important word, structure, our defensive structure is already in place. We have established what's good and what's bad for us. Do you see this filter is already created in us? So for us to change our mind, we have to participate in that changing of our mind to some extent. Yeah, sure. Go on.
But can't I think that the illusion can corrupt the picture of good and bad?
Absolutely, yeah. What illusion is that?
Well, the illusion that for me that I got love from my parents.
Mm-hmm. Where did you keep that illusion?
They gave me a plate. They actually gave me an empty plate. I thought they gave me a full plate.
Yes. Yeah. That's right. So you've created this illusion, this.
Yeah. So what actually was, I thought that fear was good and love was bad.
Yeah. So where'd you put it? Where is that?
Sorry, what do you mean?
Where do you keep it? That illusion, that system of beliefs, those experiences. Where are they?
Right now at a distance. I'm trying to find out where I have to put them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want.
But all these years.
Oh God, everywhere. In my body, in my heart,
Yeah.
everywhere.
That's right. And where have you been?
Oh fuck, stuck somewhere in a corner.
Ghosted? Far away from them? You see,
in the middle of them. In the middle.
In the middle of them. That's yeah.
Me. Yeah.
When I speak to your mind, I need to use images. Mm-hmm. And when I speak to your body, I really need to be more emotional and feeling orientated. You know, your mind wishes to understand and your body wishes to sense and feel. It's a different language. So you know, which is it easier to change, the body or the mind? I mean, this is just talk, but which changes more quickly, the body or the mind?
Mind.
The air element of you or the earth element of you? Of course, the mind. You know, the breeze, the wind blows in, blows out different directions so easily. So the mind is very, very fluidic, whereas the body is quite heavy in relation to the mind. Now, we have this thing inside of us called self-identity. What is it? Self-identity, what is it? Self-image, what is it?
An idea. Yeah, well, it's the house that's been built during our life, from everything that's hit us, affected us.
Yes.
Everything that we interpreted.
Everything. Yeah. Everything that my body sends to me.
Yeah. Everybody's saying
from the body filter, and everything that my mind imagines, because that's what the mind does. It imagines. It puts images on things. So my self-image is this hologram of me, of what I think I am, based on my body tone, the emotional tone in my body, and mental image, imagination, and also the environment. Whatever I'm currently close to. How close am I to my mind? How close am I to my body? See, there's relationships involved. Okay, and we haven't mentioned the self once. Yep.
So if I
I get a new relationship with my body, I can make a new illusion of my self-identity.
Is that how it works?
I don't know.
Yes, you do know. Is that how it works? What was that? I got. What was that?
Realizing that I might have a chance to turn around my self-identity if I become comfortable with my body.
Yeah. See, when I pushed you there a little bit back to, well, tell me what you know. What's your experience? Take the next step with this. When I pushed you back, when you recognized that you weren't getting away with asking me for the answer, when I pushed it back at you, you responded with the exhale. You did a big, and it was nearly like, well, do I have to go there? Do I have to go into what I know? Do you see how it works? Do I have to go into what I know? That's going to leave me exposed. I don't know if I can trust it. Oh, it's a whole load of things if I go there.
Yeah.
Do you see? It'd be much easier if you just give me the answer.
Yeah.
So how are you going to find out? Do you see, we all have to go back to ourselves. We all have to go back to this, what I am, to find out. Otherwise, I'm living through other people, what they know, what they've told me. You see, that's what children do. Should I cross the road now? Tell me when to cross the road. And then the adult says, okay, go. And the child runs across the road. Ba-doom. Guys, the mental images that you carry, the feeling tone that you carry, each in Buddhism, they're called heaps, piles, skandhas. They're a collection of experiences. It's not just one thing. So you have all of the sensations of your body in a heap, in a pile. You have all of the images of your mind in a pile. It's a collection of experiences. See, if I said to you, okay, how was last week? You would think back in your mind, and your mind would create an image of last week and say, yeah, it was grand. And how many moments have you examined to come to the conclusion it was grand? Did you check into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Did you check into 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock? You give me the composite view of last week and say, yeah, it was fine. It was grand. It was a good week. Okay, so in the same way, these piles of experiences, sensual experiences, and mental imaginations are all piled in together, and they form what Groff calls, transpersonalist, what Groff calls, Stan Groff, coex experiences, systems of condensed experience. Systems of condensed experience. All these experiences are condensed. It's like you have all the mail coming into your house, all these letters arriving into your house. You read the letter, you see what's in it, and then you put it away. You file it. Say it goes into a filing cabinet. Every time you go back to that filing cabinet, you don't take out all the letters and read them again. You now have your mind made up, okay, that's what that letter is about. You've formed an opinion. Do you see, you no longer ever perhaps read that letter. You know, oh yeah, that letter's from the hospital, that letter's from the doctor, that letter is from the taxman or whatever. Do you see, you have made your mind up. And now that is part of this system of condensed experience. It's been condensed. Okay, so add in the body to this. Where does the mind condense its images into? Do you see, if I'm constantly being told by my mind that I'm not good enough, that will affect my structure. I won't stand up straight anymore. I'll start to, become shorter. My body will manifest the shape of my character. So we have these things called Reichian character structures. When a person is born and they start to develop within their experiences of life, their body starts to take on those experiences to some degree, and we grow a body that is suitable for our life. Some people end up very tall. Some people end up quite short. Why? Because that is their character. Some people are very big boned. Some people are very rigid. So you have this correspondence between mind and body via this emotional system. It's like the emotions are the meat in the sandwich. So the body releases through catharsis, and the mind releases through a flashback.
Can you say that again?
The body releases through a catharsis, through movement. And the mind releases through a flashback. It creates images. And the body mind, which Jung speaks about as being a level of what he called psychoids. It's where psyche is becoming material, where the material of the psyche, very subtle material, is becoming more like the material of the body, the world. So he called this level of being where formation is happening, a psychoidal realm. So the emotional state belongs to this psychoidal realm. It's neither one thing nor another thing. It's energy in motion. Do you see? So this is all our process. This is what's going on in us all the time. There's this correspondence between mind and body via the emotions, with movement, with images. And I call it me. Do you see? It's given a name, Stuart. But it's not one thing. It's constantly changing. Why do I give it a name? Do you see? Because that suits the world. Makes it easy for the world. But it's not accurate. It's not really honest. It's not really that respectful to what's actually going on. Do you know, it's like you go into a shop and you say, well, listen, I want to buy a cake. What cake do you want to buy? I don't know, just give me a cake. Well, do you want a Christmas cake, or do you want a sponge cake, or, what sort of cake do you want? Just give me a cake. So I'll give you a cream cake. Oh, I didn't want a cream cake. Well, why didn't you tell? Oh, give me another cake. Well, tell me what sort of cake you want. Be specific. See, so in this work, you got to be specific. You got to learn about the specifics. The devil is in the detail. Do you know that it's a specific type of knowledge. And then we use that knowledge as a tool. We don't, the idea is not to sit in the knowledge, but to go beyond the knowledge. Okay, so I learn about the mind. I learn about the body. I learn about the process. Okay, what do I do next? Okay, bring it all back into yourself. Find out what you are. Apply the knowledge back into yourself. Go beyond the knowledge. Well, how do I do that? Well, check into your felt experience. See, bring it all back to the bottom. Bring it all back to what you are, into your body, and bring the mind into your body so that you're looking and realizing what these experiences are in your body. So what do we call that? Give that a name. What's that process called? Embodiment. I'm bringing the psyche, I'm bringing this air energy into this earth energy so that life can be richer. Good soil. So the process is not personal. Guys, do you know, what you hear? What are you getting? Where do you start taking things personally? What level does that happen? How do we take things personally? Oh, you offended me. I'm hurt. You know, how does that happen? Go on. Yeah.
Well, sometimes it starts in the body and goes to the mind.
Okay, so what is all of that based on? What, in order for all of that to happen, for me to take it personally, what have I got to believe? First and foremost, what's my first belief?
That I'm in danger.
Yeah, that I'm here. You know, I'm a person. I got to believe in the lie. And yet the lie is also a truth. You know, the person gives me a Christmas cake and I'm finally happy. Great, that's what I wanted. I wanted a Christmas cake. Well, why didn't you say it? Well, it would, you know, there's it's a cake to me, it's a Christmas cake to the person behind the counter. Just see, we're both talking about the same thing, but we've got different words. The person behind the counter sees it as being a Christmas cake, whereas I see it as just being a cake. I see this that I am as being a process, whereas somebody else sees me as being a person. Now, when I see myself as a process, there's certain qualities that go with that. And when I see myself as a person, there's certain qualities that go with that. Do you see, when I see myself as a mind, there's certain qualities that go with that. When I see myself as a body, there's certain qualities go with that. So we got to see ourselves from all these different places. I got to know myself when I'm hurt. And I got to get to know myself when I'm transcending my hurt. See, this is what we're learning so that we can realize. Now, what is realizing? We talk about realizing, but what is it? What happens when you settle? As you enter into the silence and you just sit and everything settles, what is settling? Yeah.
It's like a spiral.
Yeah, what is spiraling?
thoughts, experiences, it's a digestion.
Yes, energy.
And it's more or less the same things, but they change form and symbols, and they change all the time, but it's sometimes the same thing they're talking about, and it just continues until it gets
That's
more and
right.
more.
So where is the settling into?
Myself, the self.
Okay, so what is that?
Aliveness.
Okay, so when, like, if I take a bag of sand and I empty the bag of sand onto a beach, what happens to the sand that was in the bag?
You know it's there, but you can't really find the same strain of sand again, but you know it's there.
That's right.
It's
Ah,
part of the beach.
That's right. And the sand in the beach made up the sand in the bag. But when it's on the beach,
Coming home.
it's coming home. Okay. So there's qualities, again, that arise out of coming home. There's qualities that arise out of not being at home. Do you see, we're all the time expressing where we're at, where the process is at within us. If the light shines in through this window, it might be very clear. If it shines in through that window that happens to have paint on it, it might come in as blue light or red light. And really, we got to learn, we got to recognize that this is the process. And we got to start recognizing at some level what it is that the filter is putting into that light. Oh, I feel quite empty. The beach is not empty. So this is not the quality of the beach. I feel quite empty. What is this emptiness that I'm feeling? It's something to do with me not getting my needs met. Okay, well, when did that happen? You know, give me a day and a time. Well, I can't. Because it's the collected experience of many days, many times, many events. It's my childhood. Grand, that's good enough. Are you ready to transcend that experience, or do you need to sit in it and swim around in it? How quickly can you recognize what that is without bypassing it? To see how quickly can you identify your own process? Yeah.
Is that what you're just talking about there? Is that the anatomy of the fall? Have you heard
You tell me.
It is.
There's
Yeah, because the time span. Yeah.
okay. I wasn't sure of the meaning you were applying to your words. So
No.
I get what you're saying now. Yeah. Okay.
In reference to when you're talking about how long you swim around in it, the passing through. I read a book where she.
Do you see, when I'm swimming around in it, I'm not.
You froze.
Okay, we're back. I think it's. Okay, I missed the last sentence that didn't come through. I missed what you said in the last sentence.
Oh, yeah. I read the anatomy of the fall, I read that it's the time span that you kind of, you know, from when you enter a blocking or a conflict, and you kind of, the time you spend to resolve this, to kind of loosen it, release it, the time it takes for you,
Yes, yeah.
or you put the grain of sand back on the beach.
Yeah, another word you might use for that is groundless. I'm feeling quite groundless.
Groundless, yeah.
Yeah. So Jung says, for anybody who swam to the bottom, they will know that it sways. For anybody who swims to the bottom, they'll know that the bottom sways. It moves. It's quite groundless. So free fall.
Yeah.
I'm not holding on to anything. What does it feel like in me when I let go of everything? Okay, so what we're describing in a way is ego death. Do you see? So what happens when I begin to fall? When things start going wrong, what happens in me? Well, I try to grab onto something. So this process, because everything is part of the process, this process of trying to grab onto something is a regression into myself. So I immediately look for mommy and daddy. I'm no longer an adult. Now I'm reacting. I've gone into my mind, and my mind has gone into my body, and all of these coexes are firing off, and I'm confused. Do you know what I mean? I'm thrown out of my ordinary ground. I'm not acting consciously. I've now gone into the unconscious within myself, where I look for mommy and daddy. The pattern is in me. Of course, it's in me. It's inside every one of us. So you're not going to get rid of the pattern. Unless you chop your arms and legs off. You see, the pattern is in you. And even if you could somehow manage to erase the pattern from within you, the pattern is within humanity. So it's always going to be coming up from the psyche. This fear, the feeling of groundlessness, the want for mommy and daddy, mommy or daddy, or both, the feeling of child, the feeling of groundlessness, panic, stress. It's never, ever going to go until you begin to realize this within your own identity, this magical thing called self-identity. So my own knowing, my own sense of self, what I realize, it is my accessed qualities. What happens when I realize that I can drive? Do you know, I've no problem jumping into a car. Which car? That car. Oh yeah, that's fine. Doesn't matter what car. I can drive. I don't start getting nervous because this is a red car and my car is a black car. Do you know what I mean? I can drive. I know I can drive. I've had the felt experience sufficiently long enough to recognize. Do you see? So we immerse ourselves in our process. You guys, what is the value in you guys being silent? Why do it? What could you possibly learn? Yeah.
Explore this pile of pictures or images, to sift through them.
Yeah. And to experience the settling. To come home. If you don't settle, you don't come home. How am I going to settle? If I don't go into the silence, how am I going to develop a relationship with home? What is at home? What is the home place in me? Do you see, there's all of this other stuff going on, my process, my emotional process, images, regression, all of this psychological stuff going on. All of this psychological stuff going on. Is that where your home is?
No.
No. Your home is underneath. Are you your body? Let's, are you your mind? Are you your body? No. They are deep psychological processes that are happening. Do they belong to you, or do they belong to the collective? Who owns mind? What is mind? It's an emanation. It's like the shine of the sun. Is the sun shine the same as the sun? Do you see? It's a quality of the sun. The sunshine is a quality of the sun. But it's not the sun. It's sunshine. Guys, are you still with me on this? You're sort of following in a fashion. Yeah. So when you settle, what is the felt experience within settling? What is stillness?
Finding peace.
For me right now, it's a lot of pain.
Say again?
Me right now, it's a lot of pain in my body. So, yeah.
Pain in the body.
So I didn't hear. Hang on, wait, no, maybe. Okay, I had my volume turned down 2 notches. So say again.
Saying that for me right now, to settle down and be in silence, it means that a lot of pain's coming up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know why for me to say that.
So settling into the silence is settling into a place where everything is still. Correct? Everything becomes still. I become peaceful. I become quiet. I begin to feel my heart beating. Yeah? Is there any other quality that I begin to realize, discover, feel?
Being,
Which?
just being.
Being, yeah. The felt experience of being. And what do I meet within the felt experience of just being? When I get right to the very bottom,
just essence. No
Essence.
different.
Yeah. See how we use a word which conveys an image, which carries a meaning, which points us towards a felt experience, a sensation, essence. Okay, what is essence? Is it a thing? Or is it a no thing? Because at some point, we're going to get to the very, very bottom. Do you see? I'm going into myself. I'm going into the creation that I am, and I'm swimming downwards, and I'm going to get to the bottom. Okay, I come out of essence. Yeah? Is essence troubled by parents or family dynamics? That's all up there. It's all out in the world. When I'm down at the bottom, it's all out there in the world. It's above me. I'm beneath it. Okay, so now I can start to find the qualities of essence within myself. These qualities were not available to me when I was at the level of out there. If I tell you about essence, is that the same as you feeling it?
No.
Right. So to know it, you've got to feel it. Each one of you has to find your way home. Do you see? All of this other stuff is emotional stuff, physical stuff, mental stuff, psychological stuff in terms of dynamics. It's all part of your being, but it's not what you are. It's the process that happens as you try to sort this out and that out.
Lad være med at minde mig om det.
The speaker said, "Don't remind me of it. Stop reminding me."
What a fucking great manifestation!
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
So, guys, this is where I start getting interested in it. Do you know what I mean? There's synchronicity, and you could take that as just fun. Or you could say, okay, what is going on there in that moment? Why did that happen just there? Because it's pointing towards something else. The mystery. Do you know, it points directly back into essence and says, no, there's more. Okay, so if you go into essence, what do you begin to find? You find aliveness. Okay, how can you meet aliveness when you can't see it, when it has no discernible features to our eyes? You know, how can you actually form a relationship with aliveness? Through the felt experience. Through you being alive. Now, if you stand right at the edge and look over it, what begins to happen? Slowly, out of nothing, you will find that the nothing is looking back at you. The emptiness is full of being. So Jung talks about archetypal figures. He talks about archetypal beings. He talks about, what's the word? Independent, these are not his words. He talks about independent forms that live within, like Philemon. When you read Jung's teachings, you hear him talking about Philemon. Now, to our eyes, ears, you could say Philemon was his spirit guide. And in a way, that would be correct if you want to look at it from that angle. But Philemon was the personification out of nothing. Philemon was not Jung. Philemon was an entity within Jung. That sometimes caused Jung great trouble because it told him things that Jung didn't agree with. And then he had to go off and work it out as to who was right, me or it. So the darkness speaks. This Jung, let's go beyond Jung. James Hillman, as one of the main people who came after Jung, who did a lot of work on soul work, revisioning the soul. He was much more involved in bringing people on and saying, listen, there's much more important work than this psychological work. The work of meeting your soul and forming a relationship with your own being is much more important than getting lost in all of that psychological stuff. So he talks about revisioning the soul. And he says this can only happen through imagination. Because you're working with this psychoidal layer where nothing becomes something. The soul manifests in you as the other. I want you all to say hi to your soul. Okay, who are you speaking to? Do you see? You immediately, there's another. I am a creation of my soul. I come out of the nothing. Well, that's not strictly true. I come out of my soul. My soul contains all the lives within this conscious stream. So again, if you go to different methodologies and different philosophies and you experience your own research, you make up your own mind on it. Jung said in his work, he said that the approach to the sacred is so important. The approach, how we approach the sacred within ourselves is so important. If you see somebody coming towards you with a knife, are you going to entertain them? No. Whereas if you see somebody coming towards you with their hands out, saying, please, you'll open the door and let them in. Okay. So the approach to the sacred is very important. If I approach the sacred with, give me what I want, I deserve it. Satisfy the emptiness in me. My child is hungry. That's not the correct approach. In Sufism, they say, kneel at the threshold. put your forehead in the ground at the threshold and wait. And if you receive something, don't go off blabbing about it. Do you see, if you happen to receive something, it's yours. So, in a way, this is what this process is. You know, when you go out into the garden or you sit in your chair or wherever you lie down on the ground, you're trying to be the person at the threshold. And in order to do that, you've got to drop down through all the levels and layers inside of you, through your mind, through your body, into the stillness, right down to the bottom. And wait. And wait more. And then little by little, suddenly you begin to experience a quality. Jung said that all of his work came out of a period of his life when he entered the unconscious. So you could say he lost it. He went a bit off, off the edge. And he had all this flooding of his mind with images and visions and all this sort of dreamscape, this numinous material from the unconscious. And then it took him years for all of that to settle in him and for him to make sense of it. So the work you're doing right now, you quite literally might not see the benefit of these few days for a couple of years. How does that sit with you?
Oh, that's a relief.
You see, because all you're doing is adding in a few short days of quietness, stillness, into a big long line of noisy experiences. You're throwing a kettle of hot water into a bath of cold water. Now, thankfully, the qualities of the self are very numinous. So a little bit goes a long way. You have one numinous experience. One moment of realization can change your life. A little goes a long way. If you got a lot of that, it would completely obliterate your ego. What you believe, your defensive structures, life as you know it, your whole outlook would be changed. So that would be very, very disruptive. Okay, so a little goes a long way. So you enter into the stillness and you sit and you allow yourself to absorb the experience. And then it begins to change you from the inside. You start to develop qualities, human qualities, not supernatural qualities. You don't start flying around with a cape. Do you know what I mean? You don't become, Jesus Christ or Buddha or any of those. If you do, look out. If that's who you think you are, look out. Do you know what I mean? You suddenly become more than you were. Maybe you become kinder. Maybe you become clearer. Maybe the quality manifests at a mental level, or maybe it manifests at a physical level. Maybe it manifests at a creative level. Your gift. Not yours. The gift of aliveness. It's not yours. If you think it's yours, that's the wrong attitude. You've crossed the threshold. Do you know what I mean? Now you think you're God. Not God's creation. You see, you're all the time looking at inflated thinking, grounded thinking. What's the right attitude, the right approach to the sacred? Can I remain as nothing so that the sacred can fill me? Can I be the blank canvas? One of the great Indian teachers said, hold on to as much ego as is required to cross the road safely. Get rid of the rest. Hold on to enough to get you across the road safely. Get rid of the rest. Now, what does that actually mean? You know, get rid of your ego. What does that mean? Does it mean get rid of your complications? Your want for this and your fear of that? Does it mean, yeah, go on?
Yeah, well, won't they always be there?
Of course.
Fear and the shame and it's just an ability to let them pass. To say hi
Yeah.
and decide if you want to have them on a leash or not. If you want to take them for a walk or not, or let them pass.
Who has old shoes in their wardrobe? Who has old shoes in their house? Yeah, everybody probably has a pair of old shoes in their house somewhere. Do you wear them? How often do you put them on? You know, that pair of old shoes. You haven't thrown them out yet, but you don't wear them. You know, you still have your experiences of the past, your identifications, all of the felt experiences, all these coexes are still inside of you, but they don't affect you anymore because you're not listening to them as much. Something else has moved to the center. This experience of the sacred, these qualities, this felt experience of nothing. It's easier. Do you know, I say to people, listen, just be ordinary about it all. Why do you think why do you think I've come to discover in myself that being ordinary allows you to go deeper? If you want to go deeper, you gotta be ordinary. You can't be something tight. You gotta do it from your lowest self. If you want to go deeper, you gotta do it from your lowest self. Be ordinary. Yeah.
Seems like such a paradox to be ordinary and sacred at the same time.
It does, doesn't it? I bring the highest down to the lowest in myself. Psyche prefers matter. I'm bringing psyche all the way down to the earth. In James Hillman, he talks about the lightning bolt striking the ground. The lightning bolt striking the ground, and that's where the soul is to be found. There's the aliveness. There's life. Not your life, there's life. The moment of creation. You know, we talk about the here and now. In Gestalt, talk about the here and now. Be present, be here, be now. What is that? What is here and now? Everything. And then it becomes this and that. So guys, the journey, the process, the journey, it's an emotional journey. If you don't feel it, you haven't done it. Now, you know, some people will lie down and cry, and other people will sit up and laugh. It doesn't really matter what way the catharsis happens. You know, whether you smile a lot or walk around in a depression for a week, it doesn't matter, because it's more to do with the vitality inside of you. Like you could be walking around with your head between your knees for a week, and maybe I could come up to you and say, how are you doing? And you open one eye, smile at me and say, hey, I'm doing great. Don't worry about it. I'm fine in here. I'm completely with this. I'm totally alive within my depressed parts. I'm bringing aliveness to my dead self. And it requires me to be quite somber. So today I'm having a somber sort of day. I'm retreating from the world in order to be with this part of myself. Do you see? And then tomorrow could be something else. But don't coagulate. Don't be a solution today and a coagulation tomorrow. Don't become like stagnant water. You know, aliveness is constantly fresh, self-creating, more self, creating more self. Do you see? Be the river flowing, be the wind blowing. It's alive, it's fresh, it's always present. Oh, here's another lump, another coagulation within myself. What's this bit say? Oh, it's crying out for a hug. But it wants to kill the person before it hugs them. You know. I want to kill mommy, I want to kill daddy. So psychodynamic work, working with awareness, is all about seeing what you're doing right now. It's not really about the past, although the content is from the past. Awareness is present right now. So you're moving your self-identity from a fixed image into awareness right now. Where's the past gone? I've moved my self-identity from a fixed thing into awareness right now. Where's the past gone? It's no longer. Oh, look at how the stories organized me. I said yesterday to somebody, you were very loyal to your past, very loyal to your pain. Look at how I danced around that center, that story. I had it had me. Okay, guys, enough of this. Any questions, or what are you getting from it?
That I'm a big pile of shit and it's okay.
Yeah, of course it is. And you're also emerging. You're life emerging. What's the rose going to look like? Well, I have to wait for it to open. You know, I'm an opening rose. I'm a bud. Okay, guys, I wanted to ask you about the last 2 days with what I've been doing with you. And I suppose this morning. Okay, so just to bring it all up to speed, where are you at with it?
It's good stuff. It takes time to digest because it's on a really high level. But it's good. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I feel very inspired for the day when I started this.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna do something, and we'll see what comes out of it. Blessed.
Anyone else? Is it easy? Is it hard? Obviously, being in English, different language. Does it? Yeah.
English, some words I don't understand, and therefore I don't get the meaning of something. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. But I'm very inspired by you. Yeah.
Yeah. Words are just part of the communication.
It's like you're in here, even though you're not here.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm quite sure you are here.
I am in a way. Yeah, that's true.
I feel I can get lost in my mind trying to understand you, but also trying to get away from that and understand you down here instead.
Yes.
But struggling with my head, oh, I have to understand that, but something else understands on a different level.
I feel like you're speaking to my body, so my mind is at rest in a way when you talk, because I can feel my body is taking it in.
There's the communication with the group, and then there's communication with individuals within the group. And it's happening all at the same time. You know, I'm aware that I'm speaking to the group. And I'm also aware that I'm speaking to individuals within the group. So, you know, I'm very aware of words and tone, how I use my voice, how I use my pauses. And it's not planned or thought out. It's all just happening. Do you see? It's like as I follow the contact, there's a certain, I suppose you could call it skill or experience or sensitivity. There's a certain quality within how the contact happens. And that's just what I've gotten from sitting. You know, I couldn't draw a circle where the two ends meet. I can't do that. I couldn't draw a straight line. But I can do this. Do you see? That's you know what I got. That's what emerged for me. Now you guys, you need to find out what emerges for you, because we're all going to be different. But it's really important to pay attention to the contact, because once you get out of the way, what is it that makes the contact? What is it that makes the contact once you get out of the way? It's the aliveness that's coming through you. Do you see? So if you superimpose your attitude by way of how you make contact, then it's no longer it's you. It's no longer the sacred within you that speaks through you. It's you, your ego, speaking. Do you see? There's these inner qualities need to be brought out. So being ordinary, getting out of the way, what are you left with? I read this morning, just before I came online, I think it was Alan Watts, I think it was. A man that said, for every outside there's an inside, and for every inside there's an outside. And I thought, yeah, that's a nice way of saying it. So is your inside full of angry little baby? Is your inside full of stories about not having, not deserving? Is that what organizes you? When I asked you yesterday to get down on the ground and be the baby, where did your demonstration come from? You know, I saw some people maybe curled up and other people, you know, lying flat, and some people were gooing.
Inner feeling?
Yeah. What is it? And then when I said, okay, I want you to move into your toddler, everybody sat up and became their toddler. Where did that come from? I want you all to sitting in your chair right now or on the ground, wherever you are, I want you all to be the felt experience of your childhood. Your childhood. If you could sculpt with your bodies, your expressions, the felt experience of your entire childhood. What age do you want to do it up to? Say 10 years old? So as you get in touch with your childhood, up to say 10 years old, what do you begin to demonstrate? Like, what happens? Who do you become? What do you become? This is my childhood. This is the feeling tone of my childhood happening. What is that? Do you see the affect? Do you see the molding, the organizing that happens? Do you see how something begins to happen in each one of you, and you each begin to demonstrate something? It's emotional. If I said to you, I want you to each remember a big experience that you carry, and I want you to demonstrate that big experience that you carry in your posture right now. The picture is freezing, so guys, I don't know if I'm coming across. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the picture keeps freezing at my end. I think it is my end. Okay. So do you see what's happening? I can give you an instruction or a suggestion, and you guys immediately begin to flesh it out. What are you being organized by?
Memory.
Memory. Now you're doing it consciously. That same process is going on unconsciously within you all of the time. What are you not showing about yourself? You're showing everything about yourself unconsciously and unconsciously. What are you not showing about yourself? You're not showing the truth of yourself, that you're not this. Do you see this third position, this relationship with the sacred? It's not a relationship with the mind, and it's not a relationship with the body. What you've just demonstrated to me is the relationship with your mind and with your body, your memories. This third position, the transcendent position, is a relationship with the sacred. If I said to you, okay, guys, I want you to show me your relationship with the sacred. Do you see, yeah. Now, if you were to do that all the time, you'd be exhausted. You wouldn't get any work done. Do you know what I mean? It wouldn't be practical, would it? Okay, so you can't walk around like that, demonstrating a relationship with the sacred in that fashion. So make it ordinary. What's the simplest way that you can express that this relationship with the sacred is expressed through you? What's the simplest, most practical way that you have? How does the relationship with the sacred enter into you if it's not through your mind or your body? What is your relationship with aliveness? How does it enter into you?
By breath.
Yeah, spot on. So if you lower your hands, if you open your eyes, and if you just breathe, if you be your ordinary self, and at the same time be this relationship with the sacred, with your breath, what does it mean? How do you do it?
Keep focus on the breath.
And what quality comes from that?
Awareness.
Yeah.
Love.
Yep. And if you keep it extremely ordinary, do you know what becomes of it? How does it sit in you? What's the felt experience in you as you keep it extremely ordinary?
But you lose,
In fact, the most.
when you lose focus, it's very ordinary. I think.
Yeah, but as you keep awareness of your breath and you allow it to settle into ordinary awareness of your breath, and yet I still notice it. I'm not examining it, but I'm aware of it. I'm not breathing in for 4 and letting go for 4. It's not held tightly. I'm just noticing, well, I'm still breathing. Should there have just breathed in again and breathed out again? What does it do to my threshold of consciousness?
Keeps you awake.
It keeps me awake. It raises the floor of my consciousness. I become generally more aware, more present. Now, if I'm walking around doing a breathing exercise, what is that giving to me? It's giving me a very specific awareness of the practice. Is that my ordinary self? No. So is it doing anything to the floor of my consciousness? My ordinary life? How I live in this world?
Might be. If you have a breathing exercise in the morning, it might affect your ordinary life.
Yeah. So to get the effect at the bottom, where am I most unconscious? I'm most unconscious at the bottom. How does the stuff of my life affect me? It affects me in my unconsciousness. It comes into me at the bottom. It doesn't come into me when I'm present or when I'm focused. Where do I fall into unconsciousness most easily? I fall into unconsciousness most easy from an unconscious place within myself. At the bottom, my ordinary self. If I can raise the floor of my consciousness, if I can raise the bottom, if I can bring light into the bottom, I will not fall into unconsciousness as easily. Okay, how does mindfulness work? How does it actually work?
Right now and right here.
Yeah, but how does it work? What's the mechanics of it? How does it function inside of me? How does it help me? What is it changing in me, little by little by little?
It's making you relax.
In each moment? How does it do that?
It's a bottom-up process.
Do you see, it's not a concentrated thing that I'm doing.
Focus,
Go on.
focused awareness.
It's focused awareness, but then how does the effect spread out into me?
To sense.
It's a sense. Go on. How is it affecting you? Right now, how is it affecting you? Do you see, you're trying to change your process, and yet the process is bigger than you. The process is over time. It's the past, it's the present, it's the future. It's what you imagine yourself to be. So you need to get something into you that's going to affect everything. I'm trying to say it in different ways so you can get it. Okay, so I'm coming at it this way, coming at it that way. Keep asking yourself the question, how does this work? When we go out into the garden and we are still, when we sit in the room and we are still, how does this work? What is it doing inside of me? You know, my baby self. Go on.
It's just, get the feeling that gets into the soul of the body, all of the cells.
Yes, that's right. Go further with it. Can I feel it? Right now, can I feel it? In the cells of my body. How can I feel it? What quality is it?
Calm.
Taste it, smell it. You see, bring it into your senses. Get to know it. What is it? It's affecting all of me. Now, when I leave here, what's going to happen? Am I going to forget about it? Or does it come with me? How does it come with me? How can I get it from the foreground of my mind into the background of my mind and not lose it? You see, I've got to raise the floor of my consciousness. It's not to do with the mountaintop, it's to do with the valley. I go up and I get something at the mountaintop, and I bring it down the mountain to the valley, and that's where the food grows. The food doesn't grow on the mountaintop, it grows right down deep in the heart of the valley. Now, what does that mean to you?
Alex.
As you bring what you realize down from the mountaintop into the valley, what does that image mean to you?
It means relying on the basics, the senses stimuli, the taste, the smell, the breath, the feeling, yeah.
If I say to you, I'm not trying to educate the professor in you, I'm trying to educate the creature in you. What does that mean? I'm not wishing to bring awareness to the part of you that's already aware. I'm wishing to bring awareness to the part of you that is completely dumb. What does that mean? When the part of you that is completely dumb wakes up, what does that mean? When the floor of your consciousness begins to become more aware of itself, what does that mean?
And we become more fully enlightened and not just ignorance.
You start to move on the enlightenment ladder. Yes, everybody takes a step from wherever they're at. Do you see? The part of you that's holding you back is not the enlightened part of you, it's the creature part of you. The part of you that is unconscious is the part of you that's holding you back. Now, where is the part of you that's unconscious? It's at the bottom. And then when you look at the bottom and you begin to realize at the bottom, you begin to realize, no, the part of me that was unconscious was the part at the top. Because it didn't recognize that my aliveness was at the bottom. Guys, do you get that? How it flips over? When I start bringing aliveness into the ordinary part of myself, I begin to realize, my God, look what I was doing. I was trying to live from the top. I was trying to climb the mountain. I was trying to live from the very top of the mountain. I was trying to be better than I was. I was trying. Whereas down at the bottom, there's no trying. And now I can see that the part of me that didn't realize was actually the part that was trying. It was at the top. Do you see? And then I come back down to the bottom. What's the difference between me saying to you, I want you to get it, and me saying to you, you've already got it? If I say to you, I want you to get it, what does that do?
Keeps us working.
It sets you off on a journey, doesn't it? If I say to you, you've already got it, what does that do? It brings it back into yourself. Yeah. Well, guys, you already got it, but it's down at the bottom.
Then you set off a journey.
Thank you.
You come down the mountain to the bottom, to your ordinary self, and you start to work at the floor. You start to ground yourself. You start to realize basic truths. How you're not conscious at the bottom. Do you see? I don't try at the bottom. I haven't been looking at the bottom. I fall asleep at the bottom. I wait for somebody else to do it for me at the bottom. Where do flowers grow from? Go outside into the garden. Where are the flowers growing out of?
The soil of the ground.
Yeah. They're not growing down out of the sky. So guys, what I'm doing is I'm throwing seeds out. Handfuls of seeds. Do you see? I'm not trying to fix any one of you. I'm trying to fix all of you. It's funny, isn't it? It's like, here we are. Do you know? You looking at me looking at you. And we're trying to do something that's already done. I'm trying to be happy and I'm already happy. I'm trying to be joyful and I'm already joyful.
I'm trying to be perfect, but I'm already perfect.
That's right. I lost myself climbing the mountain. When you began to walk, what did your parents do? When you took your first steps, what did your parents do?
Choice.
Yeah. So they stood in front of you and did what?
Sorry, come again?
When you started to walk, you took your first steps. What did your parents do? They rejoiced. Okay, so what did they do in their rejoicing? They stood in front of you and did what?
Cheered.
Encourage me to take 4 more steps.
That's right. They pulled me up. They started me up the ladder. And ever since then, what do they do? And my teachers and all the people around me. What have I taken in? What have I swallowed whole? That I need to be more. I need to climb higher. I need to be a better walker. I need to be a better singer. I need to be better at this and better at that.
So it's never enough.
Say again?
It's never enough.
They taught me that I'm never enough. Everything about society, about the world, about civilization is teaching me that I'm not good enough. Be more, be more. Be a better therapist. What happens if I was to forget all of that and just wake up? You know, what is waking up? If I just opened my eyes and just sat with myself and accepted myself, what would happen? If I sat with myself and accepted myself.
I was released.
Yeah.
I am released. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Feel free. Yeah.
So that awareness, where is that awareness happening? Is it happening at the very top or the very bottom?
In the bottom.
Yeah. It's a very ordinary awareness. It's awareness of a very ordinary nature inside of me. But to really get it, I've got to know my pain. I've got to know my trying. I've got to see my emptiness. I've got to be aware of my struggle. I have to have had time at the wheel. You know, I've had to go through all these hardships to really get it. If I didn't go through all those hardships, there's absolutely no way I could understand, realize this principle of general awareness that I am good enough. Awareness at the lowest level of myself. So what more do I need to be? Yeah. Now, guys, when I start to realize from within my confusion, okay, when I start to realize from within my confusion, what do I begin to realize? My confusion itself starts to become clear. What's the greatest confusion that you have about yourself? That sets everything else off. What's the greatest confusion you have about yourself that is underneath everything?
That I'm not good enough.
Who am I?
Am I good enough? Am I going to be okay? By confusing you all, how am I helping you?
Oh, thank you.
By waking up to your own confusion, what happens? Do you see? It's so many different things unanswered, questions about this, questions about that, look at it this way, look at it that way. It's not about anything, it's about yourself. Guys, what are we talking about?
It's okay to be in the state of being where you don't know anything.
Yeah. And yet, what happens when you know that? What quality arises?
It's the relief that you don't know, you don't need to know anything.
Because in that moment, what do you know about yourself?
That I'm enough.
That you're enough, yeah. So I become comfortable with uncomfortableness.
Yes. That's great.
Thank you. I become comfortable within the uncomfortableness, groundlessness.
That's a good place to be.
Nothing matters, and yet it all is important.
You don't have to fix things.
Yes, exactly.
You don't have to be things.
And awareness doesn't have to be an effort, because it just is. Once you wake up at that level, there is no going asleep. Awareness just is. It's not something you have to turn on and then it turns off. The floor of consciousness is raised. Do you know, it's like I am no longer walking around asleep within myself. I'm not available to my shadow anymore like that, as I was. I see it. I'm aware of myself. So when these...
Men jeg kan huske det, når du har indstillet dine kontaktoplysninger, indleder kontakt-app. And your contact card and choose like this new card from the card name.
That's amazing, Stuart.
Yeah.
What did that say? Should I ask?
I don't know who it is. No, I think he said, didn't he?
And it would like the contact information, please. If you enter that.
All right, okay. Every new awareness arises out of confusion.
Arises out of confusion.
I'll say it differently. Every new awareness arises out of not knowing. I didn't know that I didn't know.
And the more I know, the less I actually know.
Yeah. Is knowing the same as being present? Being present has different qualities than knowing. Knowing has certain similar qualities. I can be very present in my knowing. But presence doesn't need to know. It finds out when it needs to find out. So, you know, one of the things I might say about myself is I'm not that clever, quite stupid. I was brought up as stupid. I believe I'm stupid. And I amn't that clever. But my feeling is very insightful. My intuitive feeling knows. But it's not really a cleverness. Do you see? It's more being than knowing. What's the difference? It's more being than knowing. Is that heart or is that head? What part of you knows through its own just being? Your mind wants to run ahead. But your heart is just here, asleep, to a certain extent, waiting. Your heart is found within the lowest part of yourself. Your head is up the mountain, or halfway up the mountain, or trying to climb the mountain, but your heart is in the valley. Do you see? Your heart is amongst people. So where is the aliveness?
Your heart.
Yeah, it's amongst people. So self-acceptance, this warmth, the quality of the heart, the quality of being, the quality of your lowest self, the qualities of you realizing that right now you're good enough. Coming back to eros, coming back to not trying, but just enjoying. Do you see the coming back, the settling down into yourself? No problems. The awareness of no problems. It's not a high realization. It's a felt experience. Where do you realize that everything is fine? Where do you realize it? Where can you trust? that everything is fine? Do you trust the idea or do you trust the felt experience? I think everything is fine. Do I trust that? Or when I feel it, I know everything is fine. Okay, so this self-acceptance is a felt experience. It's not an idea. It may begin as an idea, but it can be found within the felt experience. The idea is up the mountain in my head, but I gotta come down into the valley to find the felt experience. It's here, it's now. Now, to realize that is general awareness. If I was to put out an exercise about this, I would say, okay, guys, we're going to all play dead. I want you all to imagine that you're in between lifetimes. And reincarnation is going to happen. And it's up to you to decide when and how you wish to be reincarnated. And you can choose your attitude. Are you going to be born happy, or are you going to be born some other way? You're bringing awareness into the dead place within yourself. Wherever you go to when you're dead, you're bringing awareness into that place from your previous life. Okay, so we're going to do this exercise, from wherever you're at. Okay, so you're going to die in your chair, you're going to die on the ground. Okay, you're all dead now. Every one of you is dead. Now, in your own time, you choose the time and attitude of your reincarnation. And as soon as you reincarnate, I'm going to ask you, what did you choose? Have any of you been born again yet?
Can you tell?
Okay, so how did you choose your attitude? What are you? What did you choose? Yeah, happy baby?
Aliveness.
Yeah. Anybody choose to be born sad? No. Okay, so bring awareness into this changing moment. How are you choosing to be born? Are you choosing to be born happy or sad? If you want to be born into aliveness, do you want to begin well? Yeah, of course. Okay, so end well. Die from awareness. What part of me is unconscious? The realization is not for me. The realization has to happen in you. So I'm not giving you the answers. What are you realizing? Say again?
It's a waste of time to be unhappy.
Didn't catch it. Sorry.
It's a waste of time on earth to be unhappy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So when you look at yourself, you've got to say, okay, what part of me is unconscious? Is it outside of me or is it inside of me? Am I unconscious in my material or am I unconscious in myself? Do I need to become more aware of my material or do I need to become aware within myself? Because they are not the same things. Now, if I become aware within myself, well, then automatically I will be aware within my material with no effort. Whereas if I am unconscious within myself, well, then I'm going to keep falling unconscious within my material. I'll keep going round and round and round and round and round. Now, this waking up to yourself, we spoke about breathing, relationship with yourself, with the sacred. Guys, I want you all to stand up. Everybody stand up, and I want you all to give yourselves a gentle push. You know, whoever you happen to lay eyes on, just give them a gentle push. And just say to them, I'm waking you up. Yeah. And maybe if you think you're already awake, you could say, I'm already awake. And give a push back. And do it with awareness, not with blockage. Do it with aliveness. And maybe change the words around and say the words, you know, change the words around to suit yourself. I'm waking you up. No, I'm already awake. And don't be nervous about it. What do you realize within yourself? What wants to come out? What do you want to say? What does your aliveness want to say? As you come out of your confusion, what do you want to say?
You're here now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Who's responsible for who? Who's responsible for who? Do I want to be born happy or do I want to be born miserable into the next moment? Who's the artist? Do you see? It's all inside. You just got to wake up to the fact that it's all inside you. It's already here. So guys, you know, be comfortable, sit down, stand up, do whatever you want, because we're nearly there. So this whole 20 minutes or so, the last 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes, what was it all about? What did you realize? Forget about what I said. What did you realize? What was it all about?
But we have the ability to be happy whenever we want to.
Go on. Yeah.
We celebrate all the time.
Yep. Go on. Anyone else? Who's going to do it? And what needs to be done? Is it an outer doing or an inner doing?
Inner doing, get back to the essence.
Yeah. Look at your deadness. Look at your confusion. Look at your stuckness. Look at your stories. Look at everything that's been stirred up inside of you. And realize that you're not that. The qualities of being are not the qualities of struggling. We struggle with our stories. But the quality of being is aliveness. If I step into the group process with you, it becomes a heavy process. If I step out of the group process and work with you more individually within the group, individually, we're all much lighter. Do you understand? Okay, so when I step into the group process and work with the group process, it becomes murky. And in order to lighten the group process, I have to ask each one of you to realize as an individual. Do you get what I'm saying? Okay. So collectively we all fall asleep and individually we waken up. Okay. What I would leave you with for today is the image of working at the mountaintop or working in the valley. Bringing awareness to your mind or bringing awareness to your heart. Now, awareness in your heart has to be awareness of your own aliveness. Hey, I'm alive. My heart is beating. And there's qualities then that come from that. Loads and loads and loads of qualities. A felt knowing. A tenderness of life. Do you see, you build your house in your heart. It's a different type of house than the house you build in your head. Okay, guys, we're there more or less, but what do you take from it as you step into the day?
Try to be in the heart and not in the head.
Yeah. what you take with you as you step into the day. Yeah. So,
That any confusion I might experience, I will observe from the outside and realize that it is not me.
yep.
I am not it.
No need to be confused. Yep. Yes.
Watch as the road unfolds, and just, each step with aliveness.
Yeah. Anyone else? Go on, speak it out.
I'm going to try to be aware of my breath all day.
Yay. Yeah. I'm going to be aware of my breath all day and not my story. Sounds like a useful thing to do. Okay, guys. Well, listen, I'm not going to wait for you. So there you go. Whatever you take with you, we'll talk about it in the morning. Okay?
Have a good day.
All the best. Okay. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.